Right, today, so normal run of events, news, and then we'll hear from Rhonda around Surface. I'll cover off Defend for Office, which quite apt. We got a few questions last week coming up around Defend for Office, phishing, and so on. Then we'll do our prizes and turn recording off and open up for Q&A. So I'll just dismiss that bar at the top saying I'm recording. So news. There's if you enjoy Bloodbath and animal sports, later this afternoon, 3 o'clock, new commerce experience. So I'm sure that you'll all love to discuss in a lively manner with Microsoft new commerce experience for 90 minutes. So jump on that. These links, as always, in PowerPoint Live, you can click on it and go through the registration page. I think you have to register so they can hold your comments against you. One that's coming up and is going to have a huge impact for all our partners is to go abbreviation wild, and Microsoft have on this one is the change from DAP, or delegated admin privileges, to granular delegated admin privileges. So come July, Microsoft will be automating the transition for partners and also disties around that, and they'll be removing the global admin privilege or role. What they're going to replace it with is help desk assistant and user admin. So there may be some implications there if you manage your clients using DAP, which will require you to manually go to your tenants and actually set up roles. So by all means, jump onto that CSP security updates and Q&A session so you can be aware of what Microsoft's up to on the never-ending changes. Some more interesting stuff. Security Cloud Week for partners kicks off next week. So this is based around some training. There's some exams that you can get vouchers for, training labs, Q&As, all that sort of thing. So if you want to brush up on your security certifications, or just get into the game, that's something that you decided you want to go down, click on the register now button and put those in. These are all New Zealand friendly times, from what I saw on there previously when I registered for all the ones I'm doing. Oops. And the animations seem to have, let me click on the actual slides. No. So all my animations have gone. What we were doing on this one, the cloud solutions one, if you click, I clicked on the slide. So excuse me while I open up that link. But if you click on that, there is a whole lot of information on, this is from last week. The question was asked around how do we get business premium for internal use? Talking to corporate, their recommendation is that everyone go and get the small mid-market cloud solutions competency. That will give you business premium plus business voice. The requirements for that is 4 new tenants per year. So very minimal requirements. Of course, there is a fee to pay, but that may be a better solution rather than getting the power packs for you. And it's one that's easily within range. And I can't remember what that slide was all about. Oh, that's the requirements. So it's nice and easy. Excuse me if I'm sounding a bit sort of fluey because it's hay fever. It's not the dreaded COVID, and the council have decided to replace all the footpaths outside. So if you hear any noise, that's what it is, replacing the footpaths, or as we like to call them here in East Auckland, cycleways. Okay, across to you, Rhonda.
Cool. All righty. Thanks, Paul. All right, great to see everyone again this week. All right, let's dive into Surface. This is very exciting. When it works. Technical difficulties. Sorry, guys. Alrighty. Now, I know we touched on this last week, but I need to mention again as it's such a fantastic offer. Every purchase of the i5 16 256 Laptop Studio will receive a bonus 3-year Next Business Day warranty, the Cypress Hero backpack, the Surface mobile mouse, and the Plantronics headset. You save over $500 RRP. So it offers a great value for money. It's valid until stocks last, so get in quick and get in touch with us today. Paul keeps playing with my slides and putting little notes on my slides just to distract me, don't you, Paul? All right. So don't
You
forget.
didn't read it though.
I didn't read it. No, it's not worth reading, to be honest with you. All right. Don't forget, we're still running these great offers as well, which are also on our Spotlight and Service website. The link is still on the slide. We've got stock available across our Surface range that is available to you guys. So if you have any opportunities, let me know. And if you aren't an approved reseller with us, I can help with it too. Right? Fantastic. That's it, guys. Back to you, Paul.
Oh yeah. So anybody who's not registered to sell Surface, click on it, register. It's free to register. There is a couple of exams to do, some online training, just so you can talk about Surface, and then you can access that stuff and seize the opportunity to start selling Surface.
Absolutely, it's just all sales training. Yeah, so it's really nice and easy. Lets you know how to sell how to sell the products. Yeah, it's fantastic. So yeah, guys, come and join us.
Yep, cool. I better take control, otherwise I won't be able to change slides. Righty-ho, so Defender for Office. So the cool thing with this is there was a lot of noise around Defender for Business coming to Business Premium. What a lot of you probably don't realize is that in Business Premium, you've already got Defender for Office, which is a good way of extending the protections that you've already got with Exchange Online. Exchange Online does come with some protections, and just so you're up with the abbreviations, EOP is the Microsoft one. So what is the security or anti-phishing, anti-malware that's built into Exchange Online Protection, EOP? So basically, it's looking at the reputation of the people sending emails. So you may have noticed in Exchange Admin, you actually have a list of attempted spoofing. And just talking with Rhonda, if you don't know what spoofing is, it's where someone pretends to be somebody they're not, and that's quite easy to do on email. SMTP is set up that way, so you can spoof. But if you Exchange Online looks at the reputation and says, hey, look, Joe Blogs at contuso.com is sending 400 emails per minute. So therefore he's suspected spoofer, and builds a reputation around that. Or if somebody within your organization, we had a partner that called us and said that it was absolutely terrible product. It locked out the CEO of one of their customers. Turned out that CEO was sending 400 odd emails from China at a huge sort of like time. So the built-in safeguards that you'd be familiar with email is SPF, which Sender Protection Framework, which is based around the IP address of where the exchange is sitting. So if you look at DNS records, man, that went crazy with a thumbs up.
I know.
What happened there?
I don't know. That was odd.
Freaky. Maybe we're being spoofed. So that was the 400 thumbs up. Thanks for that, whoever's listening in from China.
Yeah.
China or Russia.
That's weird.
So the other thing that Exchange Online does is at Symantec, when we acquired Message Labs, we acquired they had a product called Skeptic, which was numerous AV engines looking for signatures and malware. So once again, this is file-based filtering, or a file-based control. So that's all built into Exchange Online, and you get this, whether you've just got an Exchange Online license, you don't have any sort of added thing, but you can sort of like benefit a little bit further by putting on the Defender for Office, and we'll cover that to extend the protection in it. And this is all based using Microsoft's machine learning and AI to to build reputation around usage patterns, sender, receiver, those sort of things. And you get the stuff coming through. One that comes up is Zap, which is a really cool name. But what this is doing is constantly looking at those mailboxes sitting on Exchange. And if something does slip through the network, remembering that we're getting trillions of emails through Exchange Online all the time, if one gets through, then the system is going to pick it up and then retrospectively look at anything that may have got through before it was detonated and an infection occurred, and that's known as ZAP. The end user doesn't see anything happening here. It's just turned on. It looks for phishing, spam, or malware. So it's across all those sort of things. And if someone's doing phishing campaigns, if they're not very clever, then it will be coming from one certain IP address or a certain sender if someone's taken control of a user or mailbox. As I said, SMTP is designed to support spoofing. That was because we used to have multi-factor faxes, copiers that used to send on behalf of people. We have mail list things like MailChimp and so on. So you needed a way of doing that. So SMTP, it was basically just added to the SPF records, and spoofing an IP address is as easy as. So it has it built in. Exchange has that built in and allows you to look at that. You can also extend it by doing things like Dkim, or domain key identified mail, which is digitally signing an email. That really is quite cool because it stops people changing the contents of an email before delivery. So if I was to receive an email and then forward it to you but change the bank account number, it would fail on Dkim because the signature's been changed. Unless, of course, I'd successfully spoofed the internal email of the people that were sending you the demand for payment. And then you can line SPF and Dkim up, too many abbreviations, with domain-based message and reporting compliance, or DMARC. That's a little bit sort of trickier to do, and we did cover it off on some previous sessions. But talking to Ashwin from SMX, they now have I think it's Red Fox, a DMARC reporting tool that you can subscribe to. So talking of Ashwin and SMX, so a lot of the stuff that we're going to do with Defender for Office is stuff that SMX also offers. The DMARC reporting is not something that Microsoft currently offer, so you can buy that from them. Spoof intelligence. So if you have 365 E5 or Business Premium, or have purchased Defend for Office, Spoof Intelligence, there's a screenshot there. You can go through and see the reported spoofs, and you can sort of like say, okay, MailChimp at Contuso, we're actually going to allow that rather than block it. It would have automatically blocked any sort of phishing attempts, but if you have somebody that the Spoof Intelligence is picking up, then and you want them to be able to send that, then you can do that. But remember, this is across the whole Exchange. You can't sort of like decide, I want spoof intelligence across just my CEOs. Okay, so that brings us to Defender for Office, and I'll keep an eye on time. Available in 2 flavors, P1 versus P2. So everything in P1 is included in P2. For what most partners look at P2 for is this attack simulation training. And I guess I probably put people wrong. I just assumed that you could just license one plan 2 and do attack simulation training across everyone. But as we see when we come to licensing, that is not the fact. With plan 1, you can license this for the people that you use. So the case that came up on Friday on the phone call was we've got some business premiums and we've also got some E3s. What do we do to stop phishing attacks? Okay, you need to license the E3 users if you're going to include them in the phishing protection just by getting standalone Office 365 Plan 1s. So moving on to licensing, well, combos. So of course, if you've got Business Premium, and why wouldn't you, you've got Plan 1 included. So you don't have that phishing attack simulations that you can launch against your users, but I would argue that doing that is bad anyway. You need to provide technology to protect your users, not expect them to be able to spot a phishing email. It's too hard. You're never going to do it. If you're lucky enough to have E5 or in your customers, then you've got Plan 2. So you can do all that cool stuff with the phishing attacks and annoy your end users, and available as add-ons. So Plan 1, you can license per mailbox. If you've got Business Premium, then it's licensed for those people that have got it. This also gives you protection across the back-end SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams. So something that's starting to happen now is people phishing in Teams. So make sure that you enable it across all those applications. Plan 2, you'll see that I've underlined licensing stuff in there, and the fine print basically says that all Exchange Online users must be licensed for a Plan 2, including shared mailboxes. So it starts to ramp up the price. If you can see other ways of doing training, which I would encourage you to do, have some one-on-one time, sit down with the users and say, hey, look, this is the technology that we've got in place to protect you, but be careful. These are things to sort of like spot urgency in payment, or if it's marked external, or this person generally doesn't email you. There are sort of things that you can get from that, rather than spelling mistakes in URLs. That's not going to work anymore. So how we build on top of Exchange Online, we've got all those filters in there, the 3 antivirus engines. We add on this safe links and safe attachments. So basically what that does is at time of click or opening those files, it opens it in a sandbox. So you'll see with a lot of traditional AV protection, they keep on talking about opening stuff in sandboxes or virtual machines on the device, which is not a good idea, because the people that write the software basically do the Volkswagen type thing. They know when it's being opened in a virtual environment. The cool thing is that if you're using Azure, you're opening everything in virtual environments anyway. So there's no way of actually defining that in the code that you're writing to attack. It knows that it's in a testing situation, so therefore it lowers its miles per gallon, is what I'm trying to say. So it will rewrite those and then deliver to the recipient. But you can configure that to quarantine or do whatever you like with safe links. We'll talk about some stuff, or safe attachments. Sorry.
There's 2 comments in the chat. Are you able to answer them?
Sorry.
One from Chris, one from Steve.
Does the ELO Protection Plan 2 requirement to license shared mail? Let's go with a per user model just a bit. Not sure on that, Chris, but thanks for the question. I will figure out what you're talking about there. So this used to be ATP, yeah, correct. Advanced Threat Protection. That changed over a year ago now. So wherever you see Defender, that was previously known as ATP. So good point. Thanks, Steve. Safe attachments. So this is where you click on a link and it has a nasty macro in it. What Safe Attachments does, and if you turn this on, remember you've got this in your Business Premium, but it's not turned on by default. You need to configure it. It detonates those attachments in that sandbox and looks to see what those macros are doing. So if it's calling to a command and control, looking to download some other software, then it will actually pick it up. And it's at time of click. So often what you do, and if you go to some dubious websites, you click on something. Sometimes you get a website that you didn't intend to go to. Other times you go to where you actually intended. So they randomize it so they can sort of like get through a lot of those sort of like filters where you're doing virtual thing. That's what we mean by time of click and 10 minutes. Safe links, exactly the same sort of thing. Opening it and blocking so you can't go there. Make sure you configure this that the user cannot click through and go to those nasty websites. I remember in a previous life, we used to tell people not to go to dubious websites. And then Sydney Opera House website got compromised and had malicious content on it. And you'll see that I've seen it with New Zealand Herald. Mike was just talking about New Zealand Herald in the article, and there on Vanessa Sorensen. Some of the ads are placed in there actually have malicious links in them or links in code. So it's getting harder and harder to detect it. This is great because when you click on that link within that web page, it's going to do the testing, or the link within Teams mail across. Managing safe attachments. So you could see that you've got quite a few different ways of delivering that mail to the end user. So we can simply just block it. We can replace the link or do what's called dynamic delivery, which allows the user to preview the message body, if you like, without the attachment, and it will just come up and say that the attachment's being scanned. And once it's been scanned and passed, it will be delivered. So there is no way for them to click on something. And there's a screenshot of the user experience. But as Steve pointed out, this is an old screenshot and it says ATP scan in progress. Managing safe links. Okay, so create the policy in there. There is a default safe links policy, which is basically just the same as the Exchange Online protection. If you want to extend that, then you can jump in here and you can actually configure it for different groups within your account. So if you were looking at those people that were licensed for this and those that weren't licensed, you could set up 2 groups and make them dynamic based around what the licensing was and apply it to them. Okay, so I'll let you read through that. That's basically just saying what I've shown you. So these are slides that I scored from the online training for one of the exams. But in summary, if you think that SPF is enough, it's not. That's easily beaten, and most of you have had experience of that. So make sure you use the technology rather than trying to educate users. We've been trying that for 10 years, and there's always going to be a user, or there's always going to be a phishing scam or email that's going to get through the network. So rely on the technology and make the technology as tough as you can. Realize that the people sitting in front of the screens, what we jokingly called the weakest link, the gap between the keyboard and the screen, are actually trying to do their job. They've got to respond to emails. So if they don't click on links and if they don't reply to emails, then they're at risk of losing their job. So don't go around to them and say, don't do your job. Use the technology to make their job easier. Look at Dkim. So that's on with Exchange Online. All you've got to do is add some records to your DNS files. And there's plenty of stuff online on how to do that. So you can playing around with it. And then once you've got Dkim in place, then start looking at DMARC, which is aligning SPF with those Dkim records and making sure that everything matches up and reporting on it. So there's a couple of steps in that, and you need a reporting tool. So demarking online is available. And Ashwin, if you're on the call, free to jump off mute and talk to the SMX offering. So if you give SMX a call and say, hey, Paul was just raving about your DMARC reporting tool, how do I get onto it? So 5 minutes left. Man, I'm on time.
I know, I was just thinking that.
Upcoming episodes. So a couple of changes in there. We've had to reshuffle around some of the guest presenters we've got. But I now have confirmed Delta Insurance So yeah, thanks for the request for that. So Petra and Ian will be jumping on and giving us some stats about claims. So some interesting sort of like stuff they're seeing and some requirements going forward around what they're looking for as far as insuring customers under the cyber insurance piece. Everything else I think is pretty much standard on there. Next week we're going to go into vulnerability management, which is definitely, this popped up on my inbox today using my vulnerability management. And breaking news, I suppose, critical alert in Windows 11. So once we've done the patches, the malware authors are pretty quick at exploiting vulnerabilities. So you'll see that there's one in 11 that sort of like popped up today. And as always, the links for neural impact expression of interest. We have 10 partners so far that have expressed interest in doing that. So if you're thinking about it, click it now, bookmark it, fill out the form, and we'll get back to you. What training do you guys want delivered? Pretty low completion on this form. So I'm just going to have to guess unless you click on there and tell me what you want. I know that the form was a bit messy because I basically copied everything from Microsoft Learn on what's available. So I'll take my best guess on there. But if you've got any particular training that you want to do, click on that link and click do that one. And to subscribe to the Data Microsoft newsletter, also click on that one there. So Microsoft, Rhonda, you set to go.
Yes, I am. All right, so let's see who wins. I've got Kevin Firth and also Felix. And Felix, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your last name, so but I'm sure you know who you are. Fantastic. And you have won.
Whoops, let me flick the slide forward. I'm just
You won the coffee cup
email.
and the apron as well, haven't they, Paul? Yep. There you go.
I took the coffee machine off that. The coffee machines we will be giving away, but we're going to do that towards the end of the season. So those two winners, if you could flick us an email with delivery address and everything to onpoint@dikadata.co.nz, and don't fish or try and spoof that email.
Try not to.
All right, I shall now stop recording. I'm actually 2 minutes early, Rhonda.
I know, it's a shocker.
So is there anything else from you before? I'll turn recording off so we don't hold you to it. And Matt, yeah,